Grand Rising family. I hope all is well. Welcome to my first live ever on TikTok. So I hope I don't screw up, but so welcome. I did do a title. I'm not even sure if it is on there. I typed it in. I'm on my way to work. I am Miss B Bohemian Soul. Welcome to my first live again on TikTok. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into this topic. And I have been thinking about this for a while. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do this. So the title of this live is why so many black women, single divorced black women over the age of 40 say no to a second, third, maybe fourth marriage. And I'm basically gonna just talk to that. It is a question. It is a question that I had before I became a single divorced woman at the age of 52. I was divorced, single divorced woman at the age of 52. I was divorced from my ex-husband after a 14-year marriage last year. So why so many of us say no to a second, third, or possibly even fourth marriage? But let me do a little bit of backstory. So in my marriage, the majority of women that I consider to be my friends are black women. And are black women. And so I remember one sister who I've known her maybe I've known her 15, 20 years. I remember speaking to her like 3 years ago. I'm a licensed cosmetologist as well, so I do hair and all that stuff, specializing in natural hair stuff, whatever. So I went over to her house to do her hair. And I said to her, now this sister, she had been married one time, first marriage, over 20 years. Her and her ex-husband have 3 children. They're grown now. Thank you all for joining also. So she has a very successful business. She became an entrepreneur with her ex-husband. She has a very successful business, and he had his business as well. Swipe left to view real time. Okay, I'm not doing all that. Sorry, y'all. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. So I went to her house, and and now mind you, at this point she's divorced from her ex-husband, and their children now are grown. And she's been in a relationship with a long distance relationship. Children now are grown. And she's been in a relationship with a long distance relationship. And I said to her, I said, you know, I'm going to say Janice. I'm going to say Janice, that's not her name. But I said, Janice, would you ever consider, getting married again? And I was like, she's at the time, she's in her, I think, mid to early 40s. Again, had been married over 20 years. And she said, absolutely not. And I was like, what? What do you mean? She was like, absolutely not. She said, did that. It ended, her marriage did not end in a good way. It did not end on I would say, a positive note. There was infidelity. And let me just be very clear. It takes 2 for everything. It takes 2 for a thing, and I'm speaking from my personal. It takes two, for a thing to work or not. All right. I don't feel that anything ever happens one-sided. So a marriage is not successful because of one individual, nor is a divorce because of one person. It takes two for everything. But back to what she said. She said absolutely not. She would never do it again. I asked her why, and she was like, I'm good. I did it. I got 3 beautiful children out of it. I wish him nothing but the best, she said. But she was like, absolutely not. She's like, I have my businesses, because she has multiple businesses. I'm successful. She is in a relationship with a man. They've been in a relationship. At this point, they have probably been in a relationship about 4 or 5 years. And it is working well. He has his place. She has his place. And she's like, it would be too much me giving of myself, and I'm not doing that anymore. That was the first situation. Then there was another sister who I've known since I was a teenager, and she had been married to her ex-husband, and these are black women. She had been married to her ex-husband over 25 years. They got married, I think, like right out of school, right out of high school. The first person did as well. The first person I spoke to, and I'm gonna say this second person, her name is Joan. And I was actually delivering some, because I do herbal remedies and things like that. So I was delivering some herbal remedies to her. And I think it was like the first time I was delivering to her. Now, mind you, when her and her ex-husband got divorced, this was probably like 6 years ago. And she was in her mid 40s or mid to late 40s at the time. And I remember going to deliver to her, and I was like, oh, you and so, you guys moved here? And she was like, no, we're divorced. And I was like, oh, no, I was like, oh, I thought you guys were going to be like the couple, because so many people that I grew up with got married, right? A lot of people that I grew up got married, had children, and I'm saying the town in which I grew up. And she was like, no. I was like, oh, no. She was like, oh, She was like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm good. And I was like, what? She was like, no, I'm good. He's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. She was like, we sold the house, split the cost. They had 2 children who were grown at the time of their divorce. And she's like, I'm like, would you ever consider like getting married again? And she said, nah. She said, nope. She said, no. And I was like, why? She was like, no, I'm good with myself. And the question is, why so many black women, single, divorced black women, choose not to get married again, would choose not to get married again. My mother, married to my father for 19 years, divorced. I asked my mother years. My mother's has transitioned. She's no longer, here. She transitioned in 1997. But I remember asking my mom, maybe about when I was in my early 20s, I said, Ma, because she had a friend, so in the black culture, in the black foundational black American culture, when we are women, that are divorced, and we get when we are women, that are divorced, and we get a friend, we get a friend. No. So my mom had a friend who was her friend up until her special friend up until she passed. They had been in a relationship for about 12 years. And I asked her, I said, Mom, I said, would you ever marry, I'm going to say John, that's not his name. I'm going to say, Mom, would you ever, I asked her, I said, would you ever marry John? And she said no. She said, he's asked me several times, saying, we would, be able to come together, and, if somebody got sick, we'd be able to take care of one another. And my mother flat out told him, she was like, I got 2 children, grown. Anything happens to me, they'll make sure I'm all right. And I said, Mommy, why wouldn't you want to get married again? And she said, I don't have that. I don't want to make that sacrifice anymore. Now, mind you, my parents divorced because of my dad's infidelity. My dad actually stepped out on my mom and had a child. So, excuse me, my mother's youngest sister, this is going to be the last example, then I'll talk to my situation. Same thing, my mother's sister, this is going to be the last example, then I'll talk to my situation. Same thing, my mother's youngest sister, they're like 2 years apart, have been married to my uncle. They never had children, because my aunt couldn't have children. And basically the same thing. They have been married about 20 years. And this was my aunt's, though, second marriage. My mother's first marriage. And then the other 2 women, their first marriages. This was my aunt's second marriage. And she, there was a lot of, for her, it was a lot of abuse. There was, my uncle was abusive, emotionally abusive to her. And towards the end, he became physically abusive to her. And her thing is, my money is my money, and I'm not sharing that with anybody else. I would never want to get married again. So fast forward to me. And for those of you that are still watching, thank you for watching. So I was married 14 years to my children's dad. We were married for 14 years. And the thing is, with my ex-husband, I've known him since we were like fourth and fifth grade. So we married too quick. We met each other in August of 2010. We were married December 25th of 2010. I'm just giving you guys a little back history. But let me answer the question. Why so many, pertaining to me, I'm at work, turn the car off. Why so many black women over the age of 40 divorced say that they will never get married again? Today is May, 27th, 2025. I've been divorced since December 18th of 2024. I am a 53-year-old single divorced woman. I am not a single parent because my ex-husband is very much active in my children's lives. We have a teen boy and a teen girl. And I don't subscribe to that single parent mess because I'm not a single parent. I personally would be a single parent if my ex-husband died. Then I would be a single parent. I don't subscribe to that single parent mess, especially if the dad is active in the child's life. Okay? So, would I ever get married again? Today? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this was not my first marriage, nor was it my ex-husband's first marriage. Hi everyone that's saying hi. I'm sorry, I'm just talking, trying to get through this, y'all. And like I said, this is my first live. So I don't even know how to end it when it's time for me to end, but I'll figure it out. So my ex-husband and I should have never gotten married. Now, mind you, my first marriage lasted 5 years. We never had children. My second marriage, 14 years. We literally got divorced a week before what would have been our 14-year anniversary. We got married December 25th, 2010. Got divorced December 18th, 2024. We met August of 2010. Got married met August 2010, got married December 2010. August, September, October, November, December. After 4 months of being in a relationship, we decided to get married. Shouldn't have done that. Why did we get married? I'm going to speak to my situation. We got married really and truly. We were planning on getting married in April of 2011, but I got pregnant. Met in August, October, I was pregnant. And I and my ex-husband, at the time, we were very much into the church. We both held positions in the church. I was an ordained minister, and he was a deacon. And there was no way, based on religion, would I be able to walk up in the church and being pregnant. Now, here we are, grown. I'm 38, he's 39. We're grown and we're sneaking. And I'm putting up the sneaking sign because, based on Christian belief, you don't have relationships as grown people prior to marriage. And I will say that we got married as soon as we did because we found out I was pregnant. Hadn't spent enough time or gotten to know each other at all. We rushed and got married based on the fact that we're Christians and Christians don't do that. And he was and is an honorable man and was like, Tanya, like, really, we can't, that's my name, Tanya. We can't, do this. We can't have you walking into the church with a big belly and not married. Mind you, we were planning on getting married in April. And so we went ahead and we got married. Neither one of us, like I said, really spending time getting to know one another. And I will say this, and this is no slight to any type of religion. I no longer practice Christianity. That has nothing to do with why I got divorced. It's for other reasons. Yes, I believe in the Lord. But I don't practice Christianity. Again, we didn't know each other. We got married. Had this beautiful boy that July. Then 15 months later, we had our beautiful daughter. And we just did not know each other. We didn't know anything really about each other, but we allowed religion to pressure or to dictate our lives. I will say this, there were things about him that I found out that were, had I waited, and he probably found out, I'm sure, about things about me. Had I waited to get married later on, I don't think we would have gotten married, because I would have seen those characteristics pertaining to my ex-husband in that time frame. Because remember, we met in August and we were planning on getting married in April, but we got married in December. So I personally would never get married again because the thought, and I'm being transparent, the thought of giving so much of yourself to another person to where you kind of lose yourself, because there's a difference between compromise, which is something we should not do, and commitment. And I got them confused. I personally got compromise confused with commitment. And I compromised self. Do I believe in the institution of marriage between a man and a woman? Absolutely, 1000%. I think it could be a beautiful thing. I know people who, like, for instance, my ex-husband's aunt, his favorite aunt, he says, and his favorite uncle and aunt, you know, his favorite uncle recently passed. Not recently, but he passed like 4 years ago, I think. 3 or 4 years ago. And that's why that's why she's a widow. So I do know black folk or black women that have been very successful in marriages. And it's crazy because it usually, and I'm not laughing, it usually ends in one of the spouses passing on. Like my favorite aunt, who had been married to my uncle, her husband, for over 40 something years, she passed, and that's how their marriage, ended. He was a widow. So I would never do it again. I would never do it again. And again, I believe in the institution of marriage, but I love my life now being a single black American woman, and the freedom that it entails. Would I get into a relationship with another man and just him? Absolutely. When the time comes for that, I'll welcome it when the right one comes. Married again? Nah. He'll have his place, I'll have my place, and we'll be partners. But the marriage thing again, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, I just wanted to come and just be a little transparent with you all. Thank you for joining. Check me out on my Facebook channel, Tanya Brooks, Miss B Bohemian Soul, on my Instagram, Miss B Bohemian Soul. I'm also my Facebook channel. I'm not a Facebook. My YouTube channel, it is Miss B Bohemian Soul at HGW Wellness Community 72. Family, listen, remember, be great to yourself because you are great. Be great to your family. They deserve your greatness. Be great to your community. Without love, self-love first, we have absolutely nothing. And as always, clarity is key. But without consistency, we have no balance. Family, be well. And I'm going to see how I log off because I don't know how. Bye, guys. I'm going to try and figure this out, how to end it. I don't know. Well, I guess this is it right here.